By the middle of the 18th century, something has started to change. The organ, once at the centre of European musical life, was beginning to feel tied to an older world. Musical taste was moving in a different direction. The dense counterpoint of the Baroque increasingly gave way to music that sounded lighter, clearer and more immediately expressive. The new Galant style valued elegance, balance and simplicity, and against that changing background, Bach's musical world slowly began to disappear. This transition can already be heard in the music of Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach. You can still hear the contrapuntal tradition underneath it, but the musical language feels far less stable and predictable than the world of Johann Sebastian Bach. Ideas appear suddenly, phrases break apart, the emotional atmosphere changes rapidly. It's a completely different kind of musical thinking. By the time of Haydn and Mozart, the shift was even more complete. Counterpoint had not disappeared entirely, far from it, but it no longer occupied the centre of musical expression in the way it once had. Instead, it became something composers could draw upon when needed, rather than the centre of the music itself. And yet, Bach himself never disappeared. Even as musical fashion changed around him, composers continued to study his music with extraordinary seriousness. Not because it sounded modern, in many ways it sounded completely unlike the music around it, but because of the sheer depth of its musical logic. Perhaps this is why Bach can still feel different today. The music does not simply unfold from phrase to phrase in the way later classical music often does. Instead, everything seems connected to everything else. One idea generates another. Lines continue almost without interruption. The music seems to grow out of itself. For a time, the organ itself may have fallen away from the centre of European musical culture, but Bach's musical world never entirely vanished. In many ways, we are still trying to understand it.